Hello, and welcome again to Crime Chronicles. I bet you didn't know the dark side of social media fame. Claire Miller was a star. At least that's what her 1.6 million TikTok followers thought. She was 14, pretty, and always smiling. Her dance videos were full of energy. Her lip syncs were perfect. She seemed happy. She seemed carefree. But behind her online persona, there was darkness. Claire was hiding a secret, one that would soon break her perfect image. In a quiet suburban neighborhood, the Miller family lived a seemingly perfect life. Claire, her parents, and her older sister Helen were well known in their community. Claire and Helen shared a special bond, despite Helen's disabilities. But Claire's inner turmoil was growing. Her distress escalated, unnoticed by those around her. Until one fateful night, when everything changed. The Miller household became a crime scene. Police cars and flashing lights filled the once peaceful street. Claire's home life was tough. Her parents were divorced. Her mom was struggling. Her dad was distant. She felt alone. She felt misunderstood. She felt like she didn't fit in. She pulled away from everyone. She looked for comfort online. She liked being anonymous on the internet. Claire's relationship with her sister Helen was tense. They were 2 years apart and very different. Helen was quiet and studious. Claire was outgoing and popular. They argued a lot. They fought over everything. Their parents were exhausted. They didn't know what to do. Claire's behavior was getting worse. She was moody and withdrawn. She lashed out at her family. She was self-harming. She had nightmares. She was losing weight. She showed all the signs of a troubled teen, but no one seemed to notice. Or maybe they just didn't want to. Claire's parents were too busy with their own problems. Her friends were too caught up in their own lives. Her teachers were too overwhelmed with their own students. No one saw the warning signs. No one reached out to help. Claire was left to cope alone. She was sinking deeper into despair, and she felt like there was no way out. The internet became Claire's escape. She spent hours online. She chatted with strangers. She watched endless videos. She scrolled through social media. She got lost in the digital world. She forgot her problems. She forgot her pain. For a little while, she was happy. But the internet was a double-edged sword. It provided an escape, but it also made Claire feel insecure. She saw images of perfect bodies, lives, and relationships. She felt inadequate. She felt like she couldn't measure up. She felt like a failure. Claire started to compare herself to others. She became obsessed with her online persona. She needed likes and followers for validation. She felt like her worth was measured by her online popularity. She was trapped in a vicious cycle. The more insecure she felt, the more she relied on the internet. And the more she relied on the internet, the more insecure she became. Claire's mental health was getting worse. She was suffering from anxiety and depression. She was having panic attacks and cutting herself. She was thinking about suicide. She was crying out for help. But no one was listening. No one understood. Claire was lost and alone, and she was starting to feel like there was no hope left. The day started like any other. Claire woke up, she got dressed, she ate breakfast, she went to school, she seemed normal, she seemed happy. But inside, a storm was coming, a storm that would turn violent. Something snapped in Claire that day. Something broke. She couldn't take it anymore. The pressure, the pain, the despair, it was too much. She lashed out. She attacked her sister. She stabbed her repeatedly. She didn't stop until Helen was still. The house was silent. The only sound was Claire's heavy breathing. She stood over her sister's body, covered in blood. She was in shock. She couldn't believe what she had done. She had taken a life. She had destroyed her family. She had ruined her future. Claire called 911. Her voice was shaking. She confessed to the crime. She told the operator she had stabbed her sister. She said she didn't know why. She said she was sorry. She said she needed help. The operator stayed on the line until the police arrived. The trial got a lot of attention. Reporters from everywhere came to the small town. The courtroom was full. Everyone wanted to know why. Why would a normal teenage girl kill her sister? Was it a crime of passion? Was it planned? Was she insane? The prosecution said Claire was a cold-blooded killer. They pointed to how brutal the crime was. They said she showed no remorse. They described her as jealous and angry. They wanted justice for Helen. They wanted Claire to pay for her crime. The defense said Claire was mentally ill. They showed evidence of her troubled childhood. They talked about her history of self-harm and suicidal thoughts. They said she wasn't in her right mind when she attacked her sister. They asked for leniency. They asked the jury to be compassionate. The jury deliberated for 3 days. They looked at the evidence. They thought about the arguments. They had a hard time deciding. In the end, they found Claire guilty of first-degree murder. She was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Claire's life changed forever that day. She wasn't the popular TikTok girl anymore. She wasn't the talented musician anymore. She wasn't the beloved daughter anymore. She was a convicted murderer. She was a prisoner. She was lost in the system. Prison was tough. The guards didn't care. The inmates were mean. The food was bad. The conditions were awful. Claire lost her identity. She was given a number. She was treated like an animal. She was forgotten by the world. Claire spent her days in a small cell. She had a cot, a toilet, a sink. That was it. She had nothing to do. She had no one to talk to. She felt guilty and regretful. She wished she could undo it all. She wished she could have her life back. But she knew that was impossible. Claire tried to make sense of it all. She read books. She wrote letters. She prayed. She tried to understand why she did it. She tried to forgive herself. But it was hard. The memories haunted her. The guilt consumed her. She was trapped in a nightmare, and she didn't know if she would ever wake up. The town was split. Some thought Claire was a monster. They couldn't believe a young girl could do such a thing. They wanted her in prison forever. They wanted her to pay for what she did. Others thought Claire was a victim. They felt bad for her. They thought she needed help. They believed she deserved another chance. They started a petition to reduce her sentence. They held rallies to support her. They wrote letters to the governor. The debate continued. It tore the town apart. Friendships ended. Families were split. The community was broken. The wounds were deep, and they would take a long time to heal. The tragedy affected everyone deeply. It made them face hard truths. It made them question their beliefs. It made them see that things aren't always what they seem. It made them realize that even the perfect facade can hide a dark secret. Claire's story is a warning. It shows the risks of fame, the pressure to be perfect, the need for approval, the dark side of social media. It's easy to lose yourself online, and hard to find your way back. Claire was a victim of her own success. She needed to be liked. She was obsessed with her online image. She lost who she was. She became trapped by her own creation. The internet can be dangerous. It can cause insecurity and self-doubt. It can distort reality. It can make you feel not good enough. It can make you feel unworthy of love. Remember, online life isn't always real. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't let the internet define you. Focus on your own path. Focus on your own happiness. Don't let the pressure to be perfect consume you. We live in a digital age. We get a lot of images and information all the time. It can be too much. It's hard to tell what's real and what's not. Be careful with how much time you spend online. Take breaks. Disconnect. Spend time in nature. Talk to real people. Don't let the digital world take over your life. Remember, you are more than your online profile. You are unique with your own thoughts and feelings. Don't let the internet define you. Talk to someone if you're having a hard time. Reach out to a friend, family member, or therapist. Help is there. You don't have to go through this alone. Remember, you are loved. You are worthy. You are enough. Claire's story is sad, but it's also a wake-up call. It's a reminder to be careful with our online actions. We need to be kind to ourselves and others. Remember, there's more to life than likes and followers. Claire's story is a warning for us all. It's about the risks of fame, the need to be perfect, and the bad side of social media. It should make us think about how we act online. Are we too focused on the digital world? Are we forgetting what's really important? Are we pushing ourselves and our kids too hard to be perfect? These are questions we all need to ask. Claire's story is sad, but it's also a chance for us to learn and grow. It's a chance to make a better world for us and our kids. A world where we value being real over being perfect. A world where we choose kindness over cruelty. A world where we choose love over hate. Let's learn from Claire's mistakes. Let's be more careful about how we act online. Let's be kinder to ourselves and others. Let's create a world where tragedies like this never happen again. Please like and share this video and subscribe to our channel for more content. Excitedly. Let's go!